Week 7, Introduction to Clustering. Welcome to Week 7. This week, we will explore one of the most exciting unsupervised learning techniques in data mining, clustering. Clustering helps us find natural groupings in data even if there are no labels. We will use the Mall Customers dataset and walk through the whole process step by step. Running the cell now. Think about places where grouping similar things helps, like customer segments in shopping malls. Let us keep our outputs tidy so you will not get distracted by warnings. This code will stop Python warnings from showing in our notebook, which makes everything easier to read. Import NumPy as NP. We set the random seed to 42 for reproducibility. Running the cell now. Here, we've set up our environment by importing necessary libraries and fixing the random seed to ensure reproducibility. Although there's no visible output, this step is essential before we move into clustering, as it guarantees consistent results every time we run our code, an important practice in data analysis. Now let us load our real-world dataset about Mall Customers. We will set up our data for clustering using the Mall Customers dataset. We import pandas, a Python library for handling tables of data. Here, we point to a link online where the dataset is stored. We then read that file and load it into pandas. We print the dataset shape, which shows how many rows and columns it has. Lastly, we show the first 3 rows for a quick preview. Running the cell now. Here, we load and inspect the Mall Customers dataset, which contains 200 customers and 5 key features including age, annual income, and spending score. Noticing the shape and preview of the first 3 rows helps us understand the dataset structure and the types of variables we will use for clustering. This initial overview sets the foundation for grouping customers based on their spending and demographic patterns. Look at the sample rows and imagine which columns might help us group customers. What is clustering? Clustering is about finding groups in data where members are similar to each other. For example, stores use clustering to create customer groups for targeted marketing. Running the cell now. Can you think of other examples where clustering could help? Before we use the data, let us be sure there are no missing values. This code looks for places in the data that are empty or missing. It is important to check for missing values before doing clustering. If some are found, we can fix them. Running the cell now. This output shows that there are no missing values in any of the columns, which means our dataset is complete and clean for clustering. Noticing 0 null counts across key features like age, income, and spending score ensures the clustering algorithm will have consistent data to identify meaningful customer groups. This step is crucial before proceeding to group customers based on these attributes. What would you do if you found missing values? Summaries help us see the scale and shape of our data at a glance. This prints out quick statistics for each numeric column. You will see things like average and maximum value. Knowing these details is important for understanding how the columns might influence grouping. Running the cell now. This summary shows key statistics for our dataset, revealing that we have 200 customers with ages ranging from 18 to 70, and a wide spread in annual income and spending scores. Noticing these ranges and distributions helps us understand the variety in customer profiles, which is essential for effective clustering to identify meaningful groups. Check which columns have very different ranges. That matters for clustering. Selecting features for clustering. Usually, we want to pick columns that make sense for grouping, such as spending or age. Running the cell now. Which features would you pick if you wanted to find groups of similar shoppers? Let us select the columns that will help us find groups of similar customers. Here, we choose just the age and spending score columns. These features are good for finding customer groups who shop similarly. We show the first few rows so it is easy to see what our new data looks like. Running the cell now. Here, we've selected the age and spending score columns as features for clustering because these variables help reveal meaningful customer groups. Notice the variation in both columns, which gives the clustering algorithm distinct patterns to identify groups within the data. This step focuses on choosing relevant features that highlight differences in customer behavior. Try picking other columns and see how results might change. A simple scatter plot can help us see if there are patterns or groups in the data. We add a comment to explain that we're plotting data to visualize clusters. We import matplotlib.pyplot to create visualizations. We plot a scatter plot of age versus spending score to see individual customer points. We label the x-axis as age to show what the horizontal axis represents. We label the y-axis as spending score to show what the vertical axis represents. We add a title to the plot to describe what the chart is about. We display the plot so that the visual appears on the screen. Running the cell now. This scatter plot shows the relationship between age and spending score for each customer, helping us visually identify possible groups or clusters based on these features. Notice how points are spread. Clusters may form where customers have similar ages and spending habits. This visualization guides us in selecting meaningful columns for clustering analysis. How many clusters or clumps do you notice in the data plot? Scaling helps because clustering works best when all features are on a similar scale. We bring in a tool called Standard Scaler from scikit-learn. Scaling transforms our data so each feature has a similar range and average. This makes the age and spending score columns easier to compare. Now, our prepared features are ready for clustering. Running the cell now. Here, we standardized our features to ensure they have similar scales, which is crucial for clustering algorithms that rely on distance measurements. Although there's no direct output, notice that this transformation adjusts the data so variables like spending and age contribute equally to the clustering, improving the quality of the groups formed. This step prepares our selected features for more meaningful clustering results. Why does scaling matter for grouping? Imagine if age was measured in days, not years. K-means, a popular clustering algorithm. K-means splits data into groups, or clusters, trying to put similar points together. We need to choose the number of clusters, called K, first. Running the cell now. Guess, how might we pick the best K value before fitting the model? Let us use the elbow method to guess a good number of clusters. We import the K-means class for clustering and NumPy for numerical operations. We import the K-means clustering algorithm from scikit-learn. We import NumPy to support numerical calculations if needed. We create an empty list to store inertia values for different numbers of clusters. We start a loop over possible cluster counts from 1 up to 10. For each cluster count K, we initialize the K-means model with K clusters. We fit the K-means model to the scaled data x_scaled. We record the inertia, sum of squared distances of the model at this K. We plot the inertia values against the number of clusters K using markers. We label the x-axis to show different numbers of clusters tried. We label the y-axis to show the inertia which measures cluster compactness. We add a title to the plot to describe the elbow method purpose. Finally, we display the plot to visually identify the optimal number of clusters. Running the cell now. This plot shows inertia values decreasing as we increase the number of clusters, illustrating the elbow method for choosing K in K-means. Notice how the inertia sharply drops initially but the improvement slows down after a certain point. This elbow suggests the optimal K where adding more clusters offers diminishing returns. The code's intent is to help us pick this best K before fitting the final K-means model. Look at the bend in the curve. That gives us a hint for our cluster count. Let us put the elbow method into action. We set up K-means clustering with 5 clusters, which we picked from our chart. We create the K-means object with 5 clusters, a fixed random state for reproducibility, and 10 initializations. We fit the K-means model to our scaled data. Now, the model has decided which data points belong to which groups and assigned labels. We save these cluster labels as a new column in our data frame. Finally, we print a few rows showing which customer falls into which cluster. Running the cell now. This output shows the first 5 rows of our dataset, now labeled with cluster assignments from k-means using k equals 5. Notice how customers are grouped into different clusters, 0 to 4, based on their age and spending score, which helps us identify patterns or segments in the data. This step connects the cluster labels back to the original data, making it easier to analyze each group's characteristics. What sort of real-world value could these groups have for a shopping mall manager? Visualizing the clusters can help us see what patterns the model found. This line is a comment describing the purpose of the plot. We create a new figure with a specific size for our plot. We start a loop to create a scatter plot for each of the 5 clusters. We plot points for customers in cluster I, showing age versus spending score, with some transparency. We label the x-axis as age to indicate the data shown horizontally. We label the y-axis as spending score to indicate the data shown vertically. We add a title to the plot to explain what the chart represents. We add a legend so each cluster's color is explained. We display the completed plot. Running the cell now. This scatter plot visualizes the results of k-means clustering with 5 clusters, showing how customers group by age and spending score. Notice how each cluster forms distinct groups, indicating similar spending behaviors within age ranges. This helps us understand how k-means organizes data into meaningful segments based on our chosen k value. Try changing k next time and watch how the groups change shape. Let us see what makes each cluster unique. We are setting up comments and code lines to analyze clusters. This line computes the average age and spending score for each cluster. This line prints the computed cluster summaries to see the results. Running the cell now. This output shows the average age and spending score for each of the 5 clusters identified by k-means. Notice how some clusters have younger customers with higher spending scores, while others have older customers with lower scores, highlighting distinct group characteristics. This summary helps us understand the key differences between clusters, which is essential for interpreting the results of k-means. Can you describe each group based on the numbers you see? Practice prompt. Try changing the number of clusters in the above code. See how the grouping and summaries change. This is a great way to get hands-on practice with clustering. Now, let us see another clustering example, hierarchical clustering. Running the cell now. Now, let us cluster with a different method, using a step-by-step merging approach. We use another model called agglomerative clustering, which works from the bottom up. We import the agglomerative clustering class from scikit-learn's cluster module. We create an instance of agglomerative clustering asking for 5 clusters. We fit the model to our scaled data and get cluster labels for each sample. We add these cluster labels as a new column in our data frame. We print the first few rows showing age, spending score, and their agglomerative cluster. Running the cell now. Here, the output shows the first 5 rows of our dataset with age, spending score, and the new ch_cluster labels from hierarchical clustering with 5 clusters. Notice how customers are assigned cluster numbers reflecting their groupings based on similarity in scaled features. This helps us compare how hierarchical clustering segments data differently from previous methods, reinforcing the importance of cluster counts and labels in the grouping process. Which labels changed for each method? Why might that happen? Let us get creative and name one of our clusters. This is a comment telling you to enter your guess for a customer group. This line asks you to type in a name for a cluster of young, high-spending customers and saves it as group. This prints out a message confirming the name you entered for the group. Running the cell now. This output shows the result of a simple interactive step where you name a customer cluster based on their characteristics, in this case, young shoppers for young, high-spending customers. This reinforces the idea that clustering helps us identify meaningful groups, which we can then label to better understand customer behavior. It's a hands-on way to connect the data-driven clusters to real-world insights before moving on to hierarchical clustering. If you are following along on YouTube, comment your best cluster name below. Recap what you learned about clustering. Clustering helps find patterns without labels. The main steps are picking features, scaling, and choosing K. K-means and hierarchical clustering are two top methods. Visualization makes results much easier to understand. You now know the flow for basic customer segmentation, a key skill in data mining. Running the cell now. What other questions could clustering answer in your world? Challenge: apply clustering to new data. Pick a different dataset, like Iris or Titanic, and try clustering. Use a pair of numeric features, scale them, and plot the clusters. How many clusters make sense? What do your groups represent? Share your ideas and results if you like. Running the cell now. Thanks for joining Week 7. If you learned something new, please subscribe and hit the like button so more learners find this too. See you in the next lesson. Running the cell now. Try something new with clustering and share your journey in the comments.